start euthanizing people instead of dogs, it might calm me down a bit. It's a bit harsh. Good morning all. And I think today what's prompted this this video about my views on the XL bully ban and why it's probably not going to make a shite bit of difference is the fact that one of the dog walkers that I know yesterday were out on the moor, another area from here. It's like, you can't see it for the fog, but it's the big fucking hill over there. And she was coming up to a gate, and when she were about to open this gate, all of a sudden this dog came charging towards her and started scrambling at the gate, trying to get underneath it and jumping up at the gate. No owner to be seen, and unfortunately this dog was what's in the news at the moment. It was an XL bully breed, or a bully mix. And it's just, she couldn't do it with it. Luckily she had a pack that were pretty well behaved. And she basically just had to stand her ground near this dog and not let it through the fence. And when it tried to scramble under, she shouted, no it. And it sort of like backed off and paused a little bit. And she, in my opinion, she was well within her right to do that. No owner in sight, needed to calm things down, and knowing the pack that she had, knew that things could have escalated. Even if the dog had bounced over super happy, some of the dogs that she had wouldn't have appreciated being bounced on by a bigger dog. So in that case, she did what she needed to do as a duty as a dog walker to de-escalate the situation, which is what she did. And then the owner eventually appeared. Absolutely no control over the dog, which is unfortunate. And I know this isn't the same for everybody at all. There are a lot of people that do have a lot of control over their dogs, but this person had no control over the dog, no recall. Anyway, eventually when she got it on a lead, the other dog walker was chatting away to her. And basically they had a pretty decent, a good long chat about it. And she said she has no interest in trying to muzzle train the dog whatsoever. Absolutely fine, that's entirely up to her. Because the dog is it's not vicious by any means, but then it turns out one of the people that I walk dogs for, the dog had got scrambled by another dog a few months back. And it turns out when they were speaking to the other dog walkers, they know her as well, turns out it was the same dog. So this lady has no control over her dog, and at this point in time, having control over your dog and showing that you at least attempt to have a lot of control over your dog is probably one of the most important things you can do for it. So that's what's prompted my video on the XL bully ban and what's going to come of it. Personally, just to ban itself for a breed, it's not going to change, is it? Because these are what it put. They were on the naughty list at one point, GSDs, and they'll just move on. The people that get these dogs deliberately for protection. One sec. Yeah, the people that get these dogs deliberately for protection and just to look hard or look like arseholes and stuff like that, they just move on to a different breed. But the bans won't really mean anything because the fucking English government are a fucking joke half the time, and people just do what they want. The people that seem to get away with everything are the people that just seem to do what the hell they want anyway. So the banned breed won't make a shite difference, and all it'll do is promote backyard breeders, which means there'll be more unethical breeding, more bad breeding, leading to more behavioural issues and genetic disorders, and the list goes on. It will literally just continue on, and they'll just do it anyway, and they'll just buy dogs without licensing or training. So then there's that, and they'll, like I say, even if it does get down to it, they'll probably just swap breeds anyway. It were Dobermans, Rottweilers, German Shepherds, now Pit Bulls, American Bullies. They'll probably just swap to something else. It'll probably just do a circle back to some of these dogs that get abused. So yeah, and then people are bringing in the fact of dog licensing. Now this is kind of a hit and miss idea, personally. Now these are just my opinions. A lot of people might disagree with me, So let's talk about the idea of dog license and what that means. A dog license means that you have to apply. This is all theoretical because it's not done yet. You have to apply for a license to handle certain breeds. Obviously, your more tamer, smaller, quieter breeds that are easy to manage, being like possibly a lower category, like your working dogs, possibly like Spaniels and Labradors and stuff like that. And then like German Shepherds, Rottweilers might be on another list, them sort of dogs. And then your big bull mastiffs, American XL bullies and stuff like that, pitties, will be on like the top tier list. Now, the idea of a dog license theoretically is a good idea because it will stop people that are unfit or incapable or unknowledgeable of the breed to not get these dogs. And for them to get it, they'll have to apply for a license to ensure that they are capable of doing it. It will stop people that have no interest or training or looking after the dogs properly will be able to get a dog. Or it'll be somebody like well within the 60s getting a young bully. By the time this dog's like in its prime, they're like 66, and it's like probably not a good idea. So it may stop that. But then it's not the same people for the same dog every time. Things change. And a lot of people say it's all about how you raise them, whether or not they're going to be a bad dog or not. It isn't, it plays a part. Genetics is massively a huge player in it. You can't downplay the fact of genetics and what the breed is designed for and inherently bred for. So yeah, it's a tough one. It will stop people that are unfit and unqualified to have these dogs. But then this comes at the risk of you having to apply to get the thing. And no doubt it will cost money from the government. And personally, giving the government more control over everything that we do is not the fucking right way to go about it. Giving them the right and the decision to decide whether or not I'm fit to look after certain dogs or have certain dogs. And for me to prove that, I have to pay money into the system to apply for a fucking license when we pay so much for everything else. I'm just not going to fucking do it. And then you'll say, oh, well, if it's people that aren't going to apply for a license and they're sure that they're not serious about the dogs. It's like, oh, no. I'm very serious about our dogs. But I'm not serious about giving the government more money and having decision over what dog I can and can't have. So let's go back to another downside. Rescue centres. Absolutely fucking mowed out. So many dogs in there. People giving them up left, right and centre. No homes for them. Now, when you look on a rescue centre and what they ask for, which is what is acceptable for the dog. Now, unless you live in a house in the middle of nowhere with 2 acre fields surrounded by a fucking 10-foot fucking fence and work no less than 1 hour a day, you'd be looking to get a rescue out here. It's absolutely wild. And then they complain that they're overwhelmed. Now, I know what they're doing, obviously. Safety people, no kids under 14, blah, blah, blah. It's 'cause kids are dickheads and they don't understand, and they're most likely at risk to get nipped because they don't pay attention. Well, to be honest with you, that's where proper training and guidance comes in, including the fucking kids. My kids are told, do not fuss the dogs. Do not go near the dogs when they're sleeping. Do not climb on the dogs. Do not go in the dogs' crates. This is for the kids to be told. And if you can't watch them, then you've got to separate them. Do not leave them in the same room unattended. Do not let kids sleep in the dogs' beds. Do not put dogs in the kids' beds. And you say, oh, but they're just family dogs. Yeah, they are. But if they do one wrong thing and the dog don't like it, it'll go south, won't it? Yeah, did you say how far you go? It worked this. It weren't that bloody foggy when we started, were it, kids? Huh? Fucking hell, can't see a thing. So yeah, back to licensing. So the people that don't want to pour money into the government, stuff like that, to apply for a license, probably. I mean, some people will do it because they really do want to help dogs. But the requirements are so strict anyway, it's probably going to put people off from actually trying it anyway. But I mean, that's just one thing. But it's just kind of one of those. It's going to stop people possibly from, you know, being unqualified and unfit for the dog to actually get hold of the dog. But these kind of people, it's just going to promote backyard breeding again. It'll just push it in that direction. It's just clear as day. And then the people that are who want to put money into it to apply for license, show they're capable, are the ones who'll just get penalised. So they'll have to pay money for the dogs when all the people that don't want to do it, and they're just going to be sheds, they're just going to get them anyway. Backyard breeding, my friend, do you want to buy a fucking bully for 50 quid? You know, back in hand, here you go. Got me still a bully. But yeah, the XL bully ban probably won't change anything. People will just go back to backyard breeders, or they'll just change breed and pick something else to use to treat as sheds. Or then dog licensing. Personally, giving the government control over everything that we do, not the way forward. And again, they'll just go back. People won't apply for the licenses, but they'll still get fucking dogs because they'll just do it on a backyard license. They'll just go to a backyard breeder anyway. So until we get it under control, regardless of breed banning and regardless of dog licensing, people, actual people, need to face the penalty and stricter penalties. But they do have stricter penalties. It's in Scotland or Wales. Really strict penalties. And it's stopped fuck all. But it's people that need to be held accountable. Not the dogs, not the breeds. It's the people. Yeah. Go on, puppers. It's the people. And until the people that have these dogs are held accountable with stronger penalties and fines, then nothing will change. I say they'll just swap breeds if these people are held accountable, and they're the ones that get in trouble like big time. If we start euthanizing people instead of dogs, it might calm it down a bit. It's a bit harsh, but yeah, that's my views on it. I don't think dog licensing it's an overall good idea and not at the same time. And banning breeds just won't get us anywhere. It's the people that need to be held accountable.